This is a presentation of BSRN, Box Studios Radio Network. The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here is your host of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for March 20th. 2025. This is season 14, episode number 51, and episode number 490 in the long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I am Bob Howard. It is March 20th, 2025, and we're just under 4 weeks away from really the start of the playoffs. Some teams have 8, 9, maybe 10 games left in the regular season. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting look at how we get to the end of the regular season. There are matchups and things happening in both divisions that are going to determine how things are going to set up for the playoffs. Now, I am coming to you this is Thursday morning. I'm actually recording here on Thursday morning because we were waiting on the decisions of the appeals for the Binghamton Black Bears, Brant Sherwood, Dakota Bohn, and Tyson Kirkby. So here's how they are as a foul. The decisions on the appeals for Brant Sherwood and Dakota Bohn and Tyson Kirkby are as follows. Brant Sherwood's was denied by the Board of Governors. Brant will not be behind the bench for the next 5 games. Both games against the Wolves this weekend, the two-game home and home series versus the Hat-Tricks, and then their first against the Athens Rock Lobsters. Tyson Kirkby's was denied by the Board of Governors. Tyson, the captain of the Black Bears, will miss the next 2 games this weekend versus the Watertown Wolves and the Friday game, home game versus the Danbury Hat-Tricks. He will then return in Danbury on Saturday, March 29th. The only good news is that Dakota Bohn's suspension was reduced to just 2 games. He will not be able to play this weekend against the Wolves, but will be able to return next Friday at home versus the Danbury Hat-Tricks. What is the impact? The impact is the Binghamton Black Bears will be down 2 roster spots for this weekend due to the multi-game suspension of Dakota Bohn and Tyson Kirkby. Next Friday at home, they will be down 1 roster spot for the first game against the Hat-Tricks. When Tyson returns on March 29th, the Black Bears will be able to dress 18 skaters in Danbury. The league's Board of Governors, in my opinion, this is my opinion now, okay? So this is where it becomes the opinion piece, right? This is the bias part, right? You know, for the people out there that are all pissed off that I actually cover and talk about the Binghamton Black Bears, and I might be a little biased. Here's the piece for you that gets you all pissed off. In my opinion, set a bad precedent here as the Bobcats started everything on the ice and Kirkby retaliated and was the only one punished for the on-ice actions during the line brawl. If they had punished any of the Bobcats, which they did not during the planned and premeditated line brawl, the Kirkby punishment could be tolerated. However, the Board of Governors decision decided against that. So if you don't punish anybody that is literally on the ice starting the whole thing, how can you, suspend and punish the guy who part of the retaliation was his sucker punch? And Brant Sherwood admits, yeah, he sucker punched the guy, okay? But again, nothing else happened to any of the other Bobcats that were on the ice at the time. Also, Brant Sherwood was punched in the face by another head coach in this league, and this set a precedent again by saying this was okay and punished Zemlenka for a much shorter amount than they should have. I think if Dylan went up to the equipment manager of the Bobcats and sucker punched him, he'd be gone. He wouldn't be in this league anymore. So I find it very interesting and odd that Zemlenka got a much less than what I thought he should have, right? I thought at least 8 games, maybe to the end of the season, is so highly unprofessional. With all the things that Brant Sherwood has done, he's never punched somebody else like that. To end, the old adage is true, and this is very, very true. Don't retaliate, as you'll be the ones punished the most in the end. So I released this information. I think it's going to have a small effect on the Black Bears. Obviously, Tyson Kirkby being out for 3 games, that has an impact for the Black Bears. Brant Sherwood not being behind the bench, that's going to have an impact for sure. Dakota Bohn, I think defensively will be okay. We'll miss him a little bit offensively and defensively, but I think it's only 2 games this weekend against the Watertown Wolves. But here's the other thing that really is going to be something that we all need to look at over the next 5 games. Well, maybe really only 3 games because Tyson's is really 3. Do the Watertown Wolves and the Danbury Hat-Tricks really kind of jump on this and really get at the Black Bears? How do the Black Bears react to those teams maybe getting a little bit more aggressive, maybe getting a little bit more physical, maybe pinching a little bit more in the offensive zone in front of our netminders, right? The Black Bears talked a little bit about on Tuesday's podcast or Tully's Good Time show that they really wanted to possibly get to 50 wins. Tyson Kirkby talked about that. Said, hey, we could probably win the last 8 games. Can they, though, now, with what happened here, this decision here? Now, again, these punishments were based on bias coming from Dave Jackson and Paul Jean, who do not like Brant Sherwood at all. And there was a lot of talk amongst the Board of Governors. I can tell you this from speaking with Andreas, that there was maybe because the Bobcats did start it, they admitted to starting it. They're not denying that they started it. That maybe there could be some leniency here through the appeal process, but it did not happen. Dakota Bohn, one of the things that supposedly he did was he was giving people the middle finger, and actually he was pointing to his ring finger because of championship they have and the other team doesn't. Is it great? No, but it's the reason why it was reduced down to just 2 games. So with that being said, I'm disappointed in the Board of Governors. I'm disappointed in this league and how they discipline. And if you want to attack the number 1 team in this league, I know Monroe's got a higher attendance level right now, but you tell me a team that is doing things the right way, the best way, and a model franchise more than Binghamton. You come to Binghamton and you're safe. We kick out our own fans. Let's be honest here. They don't do that in Danbury. When the incident in Danbury happened, they pushed everybody back. They didn't kick anybody out. In Binghamton, if you do something stupid like what's been happening in these other things, like if you try to run at a player near a locker room, which is really what happened, but we can get into that at another time, maybe with Brant, when the legal system takes care of what they have to take care of in that situation, right? Which could be something that we might be able to talk about at some point later on down the road. But if you go after somebody, you're going to get kicked out. If you go after a disabled fan down by the glass and the head coach has to step in and basically move the Binghamton fan who's disabled out of the way, and you don't kick that fan out because he was going after a Binghamton fan, then we know really truly where the problem is, and that's just the way it is. I've read a lot of documentation about the events that happened, and I just believe that the decision by the Board of Governors, the biasness by Paul Jean and Dave Jackson is just evident. And with that being said, I am going to now move it along to our interview. I'm very excited for you guys to be able to hear another side of this story a little bit from Andrew Uturo. And you're going to hear things in my interview with Andrew Uturo, who I absolutely love. He's a friend, and he's somebody I check in with all the time. This will be his 3rd time here on the Power Play Post Show. He just was with the Blue Ridge Bobcats. And you're going to hear his story in his words pretty soon here. And I think it's going to be pretty evident that maybe things aren't as great in Blue Ridge as people like to make it believe. So coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show is Andrew Uturo of the Dashers Hockey Club. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
You're listening to the Power Play Post Show. Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. I am very pleased to be talking to this gentleman again. He is one of the nicest and most energetic guys I think I've ever met, in hockey. Super, super nice, but also with a lot of energy on the ice and off the ice. He comes to us right now from the Dashers Hockey Club. He is Andrew Uturo. Andrew, welcome back to the show. It's always good to talk to you. I can just imagine the smile on your face right now as well. So thank you very much for joining us again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Bob. I really appreciate it.
Obviously the Binghamton Black Bears, they won the championship. You were there for the celebration, and obviously that was a great time. And then, of course, there was the expansion draft. First of all, talk a little bit about what did you learn, even though you didn't really play in the playoffs. What did you learn about the team, yourself, about that championship run?
First off, with the team, it was good to see, regular season, yeah, everyone takes it seriously, but when the playoffs came around, it was even, more so everyone was locking in, and you could tell the vibe was a little different, a little tighter in the room, not as loose. And we did have that winning streak to end the year, but it didn't really matter because playoffs is a fresh page, basically. So, it was cool to see some of the older guys really lock in, and they end up getting it done. And for some guys like me and Brody Thornton and Scott Ramakers, the guys that didn't really get a chance to play in the playoffs, I still feel we were a beneficial part of that winning team. Because they still had to practice every day, and we were pushing them every day, on penalty kill and drills, and we might not have the games played in the playoffs, but I still feel like we were a beneficial part of that winning team.
Now, you won a championship with the Ottawa Junior Senators. We've talked about this before. How important are those extra guys? How important are you as a black ace to help a team get ready?
Yeah, it's just you have to always be ready to go, and you never know what could have happened. Someone could have gone down, and you're asked to go in and Game 3 of the finals against Carolina. You really don't know. Good thing that didn't happen, obviously, but you have to be there, show up every day with like you said, with a smile on your face and a working attitude, and really push those guys to be their best selves every day.
Yeah, and you have to be your best self as well, because you have to be positive for the team and get together. But did it also push you afterwards? Okay, you got picked up through the expansion draft, but did it kind of push you to just be work harder, because you've seen it now be successful? In Binghamton, when you get to Withville and playing with Blue Ridge, you just got to work harder, because that's what it's going to take to get you to a good place, right?
Right, exactly. And I had a really good summer, I felt, and I took all of that championship mentality, that I learned from guys like Tyson Kirkby and Austin Thompson and Don Oliveri, all those older guys. And I saw what kind of work needed to be put in, and I put it in this summer, and I feel like I had a pretty good start to the year, and then obviously things haven't gone so well recently. But that's the way life goes sometimes, and you just gotta adapt to it and keep moving forward.
Now, Blue Ridge, Whitfield, Virginia, and Blue Ridge, very, very young organization. This is only their second year, so they're kind of working to kind of build up the organization and build up the fan base. So, what was your take of being in Whitfield? What was the town like? What was the fan base like?
Like I said last time, I knew it was kind of a small town, and it was a very small town, but the fans were very welcoming. We would, go down to local restaurants, local bars, and everyone would kind of know you, which was really pretty cool. Like, it was pretty special, and you got people, that I'm very close with now that I know if I ever need a favor, they would be there for me, So it was a very cool atmosphere, great town, great atmosphere there and, the landscape, but you said it. Their hockey-wise is still very young, so it's the fans don't know as much about hockey as, say, Binghamton fans do. So that was definitely a change of pace where fans would ask you questions, and you would kind of have to, spell it out for them and show them how hockey works in certain aspects. They like the fights and the goals, but there's a lot more to that than to hockey than that. That. So it was a great atmosphere, and I came in with high hopes. That's definitely a good chapter of my life was playing there.
Now, talk a little bit about the guys that you played with. A few of the guys that maybe you were line mates with, and was there times when you guys gelled really well?
Yeah, there was times where we would gel, but the coach didn't really have set lines always. We would definitely be changing up lines a lot. So I didn't really get to gel with too many players. It was kind of like a revolving door at times with the line combinations.
And that's different than what it was like when you were at Binghamton. Even in the 17 games you played in the regular season, there was, at least you knew kind of where you were going to be playing most of the time, correct?
Yeah, I knew I was going to be, other than those first probably 2 weekends when the team was, a little shorthanded. I knew I was going to be on the third line or 10th forward, and I was fine with that because I had, came in and I was told that that's where I was going to be, and I was fine with that. I still worked my butt off and did everything I could, but I knew that, Kirkby and Oliveri and Thompson and Stefan, those guys they're the goal scorers, and I totally get that. I respect that. When I went to Blue Ridge, I was told when I was picked up in the expansion draft I would be in the top 6 and, power play and all that. But even after the first weekend, I completely saw that go out the door and was never told why. So I guess that's what confused me a little bit, as it would anyone. I just wanted an explanation, and I was never really given that,
Do you think your time was good or bad in Blue Ridge? Just going by what you just said to me, it doesn't seem like you were happy with how things went.
Yeah, obviously I wanted to be in Binghamton the whole time, and I think I've told you that before.
Sure.
And that's no knock on Blue Ridge or anything. It's just, I made a lot of great friends in Binghamton, a lot of people outside of even hockey that I can still talk to there. And then when I told them I didn't want to come down there in the summer, I was told my rights would be held and they weren't going to trade me. So that was kind of frustrating even at the start of the relationship between us. And then, like I said, just multiple times I was lied to or told I'm only there to be a physical, grinder player, and then I would do that, and then I would still be sat the next game. So it was kind of, I have positive parts of being there, obviously.
Yeah.
Made a lot of great friends, but also some negative parts, which, I mean, I haven't even said the half of it, right?
So, no, I completely understand, and I don't want to push it any further, Utes. To me, you're one of the nicest guys, and if that kind of went that way, unfortunately, that's unfortunate. When you were released, was it kind of a mutual parting, or was this something that they came to you and you didn't realize it was happening?
Yeah, I knew my time was shortened there, just by how they were bringing in college guys and trading for guys. And my whole time there, like I said, I would be there would be parts of the season where I would be in one game and I would be out the next game, and he didn't have a reason why. He just said, I need you to be a more physical player. And that's all. He didn't have any video clips. He didn't have anything for me. Where it was much different with Coach Sherwood. He would tell me why I wasn't playing, what I need to work on, not just I need to hit people more.
Right.
So, yeah, I went to them after the Athens weekend. We had a 3-3 with Athens. 2 games at home. I got scratched for both. And then the final game was a Sunday game in Athens. He said, yeah, I played really well, but I still need you to be more physical. And then we had video after that, and there was clips of me being physical. So that was kind of my point where I was like, all right, do they really care about me here?
Mm-hmm.
So I went in and asked for a trade. He said he'll consider it, which was kind of okay. That's, I guess, a maybe getting somewhere.
Right.
He said, I'm going to keep you for this weekend against Hudson Valley. I think we played Hudson Valley for 2 games. Was 10th forward one game, got scratched the other game. And then I went to the office that next week, and I said, hey, any update on the trade? He said he reached out to every team in the league, and no one was interested in a trade. And then he said, we're just going to release you. So, yeah, that was how that went down. I talked to multiple coaches, and, yeah, they said I was never even on the trade wire. So, yeah, that was kind of hard for me to hear,
right.
Because when you hear, yeah, no one even wants you, that makes you feel like
right.
My confidence was already shattered at this point. And then to hear that kind of, just put it over the line. But to hear that he didn't even put me on the trade wire made me feel a little better, like, okay, maybe these teams just didn't even know I was available. So,
right.
Yeah, it wasn't handled the way I wanted it to.
Sure.
He did ask for a few teams that I would like to be traded to, but who even knows if that was followed through with.
Well, yeah, and of course, I mean, to kind of delve into this just a little bit, Andrew, he has to know that if you said, well, yeah, trade me to Binghamton, I'd like to go back to Binghamton, he knows that you could easily just text Sherwood and say, hey, did Zemi reach out to you? And you're going to get an answer from Coach Sherwood, without a doubt. So that's kind of interesting that would happen. The other thing, which was what I found out, and I wanted to talk to you about, because this is the hard part. You got released just before Binghamton was coming to town.
Right. Yeah, I got released at the start of that week.
Yeah. And
I could have reached out to Coach Sherwood,
mm-hmm.
but I mean, would it have done, like, he's got more important things to worry about.
No, I understand.
I know he cares about me a lot, but he's got games to win.
Yeah.
I mean, and would Zemi even have done that? No, probably not, because I asked him to do that at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And he said no, so why would he do it?
Yeah.
Right when they're about to play each other, I didn't want to burden either one of them with that, so I was kind of like letting it go and just see what happens,
I know there's a ring waiting for you. Are you? What's your feelings about getting the ring from Binghamton?
I can't wait. I've heard they're awesome-looking rings.
They are.
And I was supposed to get it that weekend.
Yes.
Obviously, that kind of everything that ship sailed. So I'll probably have, just because I'm here in Danville and we don't play bingo at all, I'll probably have Dylan ship it to me, or maybe have Austin Thompson grab it for me because I see him a couple times during the summer. So, that'll all work out.
I listen. If that's the way it's going to go down, I think you need to let Austin Thompson bring it to you. If he feels comfortable enough carrying it and not losing it or anything like that, comes in a nice box, right? But I think it should come from somebody from the team, not just shipped to you. Not that Dylan isn't a great guy. We all love Dylan, right? But
sure.
But I think it should come from Tomer. I know Austin listens to this and he'll listen to this interview. And Tomer, it is now your responsibility to deliver it because it's important. Because it's important.
We skate together sometimes in the summer, so I'm sure he'll have no problem. Doing that.
No, without a doubt. So, how did the connection? Who made the first outreach between you and the Dashers?
I just signed with an agent, and he kind of got me in contact with a couple teams. There were a couple teams that were interested. Hudson Valley reached out, and then Danville reached out as well. And I was just kind of talking to them, looking over their schedule, and I wanted to go somewhere I'm going to play and kind of be, a driving force for a team. And I've done that. I've been here for 4 games now, and I've done a pretty good job at that. The stats don't really show it. I've won 1.4 games, which, may not look great, but I've had a lot of opportunities. Like I have 25 shots on goal in 4 games, so that's pretty good, and I'm showing I can play in this league at a high level.
Who are you lined up with the Dashers right now?
On a line with them?
Yeah, with a line.
Oh, okay, sorry. It's Yusuke Jumanji. He's from Japan. He's a center. And then my buddy, we were together in Blue Ridge. He also got released by them earlier in the year. His name's Ilner Madyarov.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's a Russian player. So, they already had their line set. So you know how I am. I just kind of go with the flow. And, I jumped in wherever they needed me and played hard and did whatever I needed to do to help the team. And I feel like I did that for the most part this weekend. Yeah,
you guys played against the Seawolves down in Mississippi, Gulf Coast trip. I think all players really kind of enjoy going down to Biloxi to kind of just get a little extra sun and the rays and stuff like that. But honestly, the Dashers were close in really 2 of those games. The first 2, I know you guys were shut out 4-0 in the final game, but was the feeling like, listen, we're so close to winning that next game?
Yeah, there's so many new guys that came down this weekend too. I think it was 5 or 6 new players.
Right.
And then obviously a new head coach and some guys that have been there for a while. So it's the team needs to gel a little bit more. Mm-hmm. We have guys that are basically running the forwards, and then the coach isn't really running the team like the captains are. So it's a weird situation right now, but once everyone kind of gets together and gets on the same page, I think it could be a pretty decent team.
Gotcha. All right. So, Andrew, how are you doing? How is Andrew Uturo doing, through all this? Because one of the hardest things, and I talk about this all the time, especially with goaltenders, right? Goaltenders are sometimes just crazy basket cases. They beat themselves up. about it. But how are you doing with the fact that you were released, now you've been picked up, and now you're on your third team in less than a year or just over a year? You're on your third team. How are you doing about that?
Yeah, I definitely some confidence issues right now. Not like so much with the puck, but it's like at times I'm like, can I still play in the league? Can I still be a factor? But then I go out and play and I feel fine. It's just off the ice. It's hard at times, you know. It kind of sucks to say, like, especially when I was in Blue Ridge, basically someone saying you're not good at your job, like, because hockey is our job, right? So it's when you're sitting out multiple nights in a row and lied to and all of that, it's very hard on your mental health. And my family could see that, and they're like, you need to get out of there. Like, it was just a complete 180 from Binghamton.
Yeah.
Where I felt like I could, you know, hang with anyone and play the game the right way and still have a good time. But in Blue Ridge, it felt like I was walking on eggshells at times. So
that's too bad.
But being here has given me a lot of like positive vibes. I'm playing more. I'm getting back to my old self a little bit and just working on, you know, doing the things I know how to do, and trying to stand out, get my name out there for next year.
Well, you know that Coach Sherwood brought you in for a reason. He saw potential in you. So wherever you end up, even after this season, just remember that fact that, you know, Coach Sherwood, the teammates that you had, even probably some of the teammates you had in Blue Ridge, and of course now in Danville, they believe in you for a reason, right? And
right.
You know, so that's the part you just kind of like have to sit back and go, listen, I know it was kind of rough a little bit, you know, but I can rebound from this because people do believe in me.
Exactly, and I'm hoping, you know, if Coach Sherwood does stay there for next season, or even if they do bring in a new coach and coach is able to go up to a higher level, he's able to maybe give me a positive review, and I might be able to get a chance to come back there. So
yeah,
that would be my dream right now.
Well, you know he's going to, if he goes to the SP or the ECHL, he's going to take half of this damn team from us here in Binghamton. You know he's going to. Like, there's like certain guys he's like going to just poach and take with him and go, all right, Don, I'll let you work like once every 2 weeks, and Kirks, we'll set you up in the biggest mansion we can here in whatever town I'm in. You know he's going to do. He's going to poach, you know, a few of the guys. So there.
It's very well deserved.
I'm just joking, and I'm just kind of picking. A lot of those guys will be listening to this because they want to find out about how you're doing and whatnot. So, Andrew, good luck the rest of the season. As I told you, and I guess it won't be much of a secret, I'm really, really, really rooting for you guys to go on a little bit of a run and get some wins. You know, not just for you, of course for you, but also just for that whole Dashers organization. I can't even imagine what it's been like to that organization. A couple of the guys that have been there almost the whole season, to be, you know, experiencing what they've been experiencing has had to have been pretty tough. So, again, like I said, maybe not a secret no more, but we're just really hoping that you guys start firing off some wins.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we can get one against either Hudson Valley or Danbury, maybe even this weekend. That would be pretty cool.
Well, if you guys get one against Danbury, Binghamton will be very happy about that, because they're obviously just below us and everything. So, again, Andrew, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. I always appreciate talking to you, and looking forward to seeing you very shortly.
All right, awesome. And we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. That was Andrew Uturo of the Dashers Hockey Club. I want to thank Andrew for coming on the show and opening up about his time just in the past 12 months, how everything has gone, especially in Blue Ridge and now in Danville with the Dashers Hockey Club. But let's move on from that and get into the upcoming games for the Binghamton Black Bears. The Black Bears will face off in a 2-game set against the Watertown Wolves up in Watertown, New York. So these are 2 road games up there in Watertown. This weekend's games will be the 7th and the 8th meetings between the 2 teams. The Black Bears are 5-1 in the 6 games played this season against the Wolves. And if you remember, the one loss was on opening night as they raised the championship banner. The 2 teams last played on January 18th in Binghamton, with the Black Bears getting a 4-2 win. In the 4-2 win, C.J. Stubbs scored 2 goals, with Josh Fletcher and Cam Clark getting the other 2 goals, and Eggy with the win in the game. The Wolves got their goals from Trevor Newman and Carter Thornton. The Black Bears are first in the Empire Division with a record of 42-5-1 with 122 points, and the Watertown Wolves are now 4th in the Empire Division. Earlier in the season, they were just behind the Black Bears, but the Black Bears have pulled away from everybody within the division. They have a record of 25-18-3 with 73 points. So 4th place right now. They're in the playoffs. But of course, they're not marked as being in the playoffs because there is the 1-game playoff that will, the play-in game, basically, that the 4th place and the 5th place team will play. Now, of course, the 5th place team is the Motor City Rockers. They are considerably behind the Wolves in the standings, within the points aspect of things. So, I think the Wolves will be fine. I think they can win that 1 game against the Motor City Rockers, but there are still 4 weeks left to go in the regular season, so we'll see what happens there. All right, the Watertown, the Wolves are led by, I've highlighted 6 guys here. David Gaeta, who's in 42 games played, has 31 goals, 40 assists for 71 points. He has 7 power play goals and 2 game-winning goals for the Wolves this season. Trevor Lord, obviously a staple now with the Watertown Wolves. In 44 games played, 31 goals, 37 assists for 68 points, 10 power play goals, 5 shorthanded goals, 7 game-winning goals. If those numbers look similar to, basically they're like the Black Bears, he is on that same level as some of the top-tier Black Bears players who, constantly are on the power play, the penalty kill, provide game-winning goals, and obviously the points as well. Gaeta is good as well, so don't get me wrong there, but I think Trevor Lord is a little bit more of a special player and has done very well in his time with Watertown. Trevor Grasby, in 46 games played, has 6 goals, 53 assists for 59 points, 2 power play goals, and a game-winning goal for Grasby. He's had a really nice season himself. Carter Thornton, 46 games played. He has 18 goals, 21 assists for 39 points, 3 power play goals, 1 shorthanded goal, and 2 game-winning goals. Now, I guess my curiosity is, what are we going to see from the Watertown Wolves this weekend? We know what we got from them, say, in the first month and a half before there was the ownership change and just the change in the team itself with some of the players leaving and whatnot. But you do have Lord, Grasby, Thornton, and Gaeta. These are all 4 of these guys are great players. The other 2 players I highlighted are their goaltenders. Brendan Colgan played with the Baton Rouge Zydeco earlier in the season. His combined he's 2-2 right now with the Wolves, but combined with his time in Baton Rouge, he's 16-11-3, a 2.75 goals against average, and a .919 save percentage. He was not happy in Baton Rouge, asked for the trade, and he went to Watertown. Their main goalie this season has been Anton Bedorkin. 18-12-3 with a 3.67 goals against average and a .907 save percentage. Basically, the Black Bears, no matter which goaltender they see this weekend, and they might see both, right? One in one game, one in the other. These are two good goaltenders, okay? We already know what Bedorkin can do, and I don't think we've seen Colgan that much. Maybe when he was with Columbus at one point, but two very good goaltenders. The Black Bears are led by Tyson Kirkby, right? 41 games played, 33 goals, 51 assists for 84 points. Tops in the league, 10 power play goals, 4 shorthanded goals, 4 game-winning goals. Austin Thompson, has 28 games played, 29 goals, 32 assists for 61 points, 4 power play goals, 3 shorthanded goals, and 9 game-winning goals. So, when you need something from Tomer, he's going to get you that clutch goal that is going to help win the game. Now, of course, a lot of that is circumstantial as well for anybody with game-winning goals, right? You guys could win by 5 goals, and that third goal is still going to be like possibly the game-winning goal. So it's not like it's a planned-out thing, but Tomer has been on that good side of the game-winning goals this year. CJ Stubbs, who I think had a slow start for the Black Bears, in 37 games played, now has 20 goals, 37 assists, and 57 points, 7 power play goals, 2 shorthanded goals, and 3 game-winning goals. And when I say, I think the first 10 or 15 games, he was kind of quiet, and he's really picked it up in probably his last 20 games. He's been really, really good. Dakota Bohn, 45 games played. Same thing with Dakota, right? He probably went the first 25, almost 30 games without scoring, and now he's been on fire ever since. 16 goals, 41 assists for 57 points, 8 power play goals, 2 shorthanded goals, and 5 game-winning goals for Dakota Bohn as well. Now, of course, on the netminder side of things, we all know who's there. Connor McAnanima, 27 wins, 2 losses, 1 overtime loss, a 2.02 goals against average, one of the best in the league, .925 save percentage as well. Now, on the flip side, you got Nolan Egbert, 14-3-0, 3.3 goals against average, and an .887 save percentage. Great win record. He would like to improve on his goals against average and his save percentage. But honestly, I've found that sometimes some of the toughest games for the Black Bears, Egbert has been in goal. Not because of Egbert did they have a tough time, but some of the games that have been played in front of Nolan haven't been the cleanest and the best defensively, and I think that hurts his numbers just a little bit. Right, left out to dry a little bit. A couple of defensive breakdowns come in, or they're able to score on Eggy. So that's something to think about there. Now on the special team side, Binghamton power play is ranked number 1. They have the most power play goals with 61, and they have a 25% percentage. Now there's a few teams that have 25% percentage. So you have to break it down by the decimal points, right? Black Bears, I'm just gonna say it's 25%, and they're ranked number 1 because they are. On the PK, they're ranked number 3 with 31 power play goals against and 86 save percentage. So you got your number 1 power play team, and you got your number 3 PK team going against Watertown, who has the ranked number 3rd power play team with 48 power play goals, 25% as well. It's a lower number when you look at the decimal point. That's why they're ranked 3rd. On the PK, they're ranked 8th with 38 power play goals against and an 82 percentage as well. All right. Roster thoughts. Let's talk a little bit about this for a few minutes. The Black Bears have activated Kyle Steffen to the active roster. He had missed the last 10 games due to injury, and he brings his 14 goals, 17 assists for 31 points back to the second line center position now. Of course, with with everything that's been going on, it's just good to have Kyle Steffen back. Cam Cervoni is put on the 15-day IR, joining Josh Fletcher there. However, it sounds like a season-ending injury from Cam's Instagram post. Okay, so I do want to throw this out there because I read this just a couple days ago, and I was like, man, okay, I didn't know it was going to be this bad. But this is what Cam said on his Instagram. Lots of emotions these past few days, a very tough ending to an amazing season. That tells me that it's season ending right there. I can't thank the Black Bears and the Havoc enough for a great first season of professional hockey, amazing experience and friendships made. Injuries happen, but I'll recover and be back stronger and better than ever. Let's run it back. So it sounds like to me that Cam doesn't think he's going to be able to be back this season with his injury, and it's unfortunate he comes back from the Havoc, and in that first shift back, he just gets checked by Chase Harwell, and it was a clean check, nothing wrong there, and just an injury that just happens. So we wish the best for Cam, and can't wait to see him next year if that is truly his way of saying that was a season-ending injury. All right, the Black Bears have 5 college rookies. All 5 have made their debut now. They actually have had 6 make their debut, but the defenseman Richard Calaruso, he has been released. Okay, so they have 5 on the roster right now, and that's the limit. So we'll see if these guys all stick around, or if there's maybe a couple more that come in and a couple of these guys get released. Who knows, right? We'll see what Brant Sherwood does. But first, C.J. Happard, he gets 1 win against the Danbury Hat Tricks. He looked good. I got to be honest with you. He was put into a position where you have one of the better shorthanded teams out there, where when they're down a man and they're on the penalty kill, they can go back and score. Johnny Ruiz scores. He's a pretty good shorthanded goal scorer. Knows when to jump, knows when to take advantage of a mishandle of the puck, up at the top, but in the point. So CJ did a good job, right? He gave up 2 shorthanded goals and a power play goal, so nothing even strength. To me, that's a victory. That's good. That's that kind of things you want to see. Giving up a power play goal or even a shorthanded goal, that's not on you. That is a team thing right there. So I thought he looked good. His side to side, his east to west was really nice. I thought that was very smooth. So I think he's a good addition. I hope we get to see him soon, maybe in one of the games this weekend. Who knows? Anthony Bernardo, 2 games played, 2 assists, and he had those 2 assists against the Hat Tricks, the same game that C.J. Happard played in. I thought he looked good. He was jumping into the plays. He seemed very comfortable. Almost seemed like he'd been on the team all season long, right? I don't know what his college career was like. I have never seen any of his games, but it just seemed to me like he just jumped in and was able to play with the Black Bears and just felt comfortable out there. It was almost like, oh, wait, there's number 20. Okay. Darian Benchik, who was obviously on the Power Play Post show last week, he's played 4 games so far. He got here a little bit sooner than everybody else. He had 1 assist so far and did survive the Blue Ridge series and assisted on the Tyson Kirkby 110th goal, breaking the franchise record for goals. So he was that was where his assist came from. So there's a little bit of a notch on that. And if you listen to the interview from this past Sunday's show, past Monday, I guess was when I released it, then you know that he did not get the goal of the puck for his first point. So hopefully he gets a goal here soon and is able to capitalize on getting that first puck. All right, Luke Dobles, 1 game played. He played well against the Thunderbirds. Him and Nick Swain basically both played 1 game this past weekend. It was against the Thunderbirds, and they both looked good. There were certain things that Nick Swain did, which I thought was great. He had a play in the defensive zone and in the offensive zone where he recovered really well when a mishandle of the puck happened. And in the offensive zone, one of the things that he did was the Thunderbirds had actually turned over the puck or kind of lost control of the puck, and Nick Swain turned right around, picked that puck up, and was able to, I think it was only like a few passes, and then we turned it back over to the Thunderbirds. But as you all know, that was kind of really how that game went anyways. But Nick Swain just had really good instincts out there, and I really like that. Hopefully we'll get to see him very, very soon. So 5 new college rookies, and I think the team is heading in the right direction, okay? I also want to mention Coach Sherwood talked about on the Tully's Good Time show with Brooks Hill about the rookies. So I recommend, if you haven't watch that, you should go back and you should go back and watch that. He talks about that a little bit. He also talks about the situation down in Blue Ridge and a little bit. So I think that's very interesting. So definitely worth checking out. I always check it out on Wednesday, even though it comes out on Tuesday. Sorry, Brooks, I don't give you that live game, the live show stat. I give it to you the next day when I watch it. So, but I do watch it every single week. Breakdown of the remaining games. I posted this on Facebook in the Facebook group, I think on Monday. There are 8 games remaining in the Binghamton Black Bears 24-25 schedule. I know a lot of you just went, oh, but it's true. There's only 8 games left in the regular season. Next weekend, the Black Bears finish out the season with the Watertown Wolves up in Watertown. We just talked about that. The weekend after that, the Black Bears will play the Danbury Hat-Tricks in a home-and-home series. So 1 game will be in Danbury, 1 game will be in Binghamton. There will be a 2-game midweek series against the Athens Rock Lobsters down in Athens, in what will be another great test for the league's top 2 teams, or top 3 teams, so to speak, depending on where you put Athens in that. But they are definitely a good team. Then the final 2 home games for the Black Bears will be 8 days afterwards, right? So the Athens games are on Wednesday and Thursday, and then they'll have like 8 days off. Okay, they'll come back on that next Friday, not the Friday, after the Athens series, but the Friday after that. And they'll play 2 games, once against the Danbury, comes back in for 1 more game, and then the Black Bears will end the season with the HC Venom. So that means 8 more games, 3 against Danbury, 2 home, 1 away. 2 against the Watertown Wolves. That's this upcoming weekend. They're both away. 2 against Athens. That'll be away. And 1 game left against the HC Venom at home. Important notes, that's 5 away games and 3 home games to end the season. I think they'll be fine. I don't think that's a big deal at all. Speaking of the home games, so far we've had 7 sellouts this season, and an average is up to 42-37, the second highest in the league, which is pretty cool. Monroe is number 1 right now with 46-13, and they're doing that with a team that is on the border of not making the playoffs. So that's great for them. In other words, they're doing the right things. Their back office staff. Whenever a team is not necessarily performing the best on the ice, if they're still selling tickets and getting people in there, that is usually indicative that the back office people, the player engagement is still clicking and hitting the right way, and that's a good thing. So good, congratulations to the Monroe Moccasins. I think that's pretty much going to be it for me. So the Power Play Post Show is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on whichever platform you listen to your podcast, and please subscribe. Please join the Power Play Post Show Facebook group. Just go to Facebook and search Power Play Post Show. Check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your Binghamton hockey information and curiosity. And thank you to Rob Lapolis, our MC, John Petitucci, our musical director, and from the Dashers Hockey Club, our good friend, 3-time person, 3-time now guest here on the Power Play Post Show. He is Andrew Uturo. I am Bob Howard. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.